Are we rolling?
He's been rolling.
All right, let's do this.
These guys are rolling down the road. They're going, are these guys ever going to start?
It ain't going viral.
It will. Look at the hook rate.
Oh, Lord. All right.
It's at 54%.
Whatever.
It'll go.
What? There's a lot of distractions this morning.
I'm focused.
For those of you who are driving down the road right now, pay attention. Watch what you're doing. You're going to run up on somebody.
It looks like real water drops, but it's not.
Okay, would you
said
definitely
I'm waiting.
You did not take your medication this morning.
Yeah, I did, because I'm about to have to poop, so I did.
I already have to poop. Okay, here we go.
Okay,
Shooting
sorry.
ability is what we're doing. Shooting ability. Judging your shooting ability. Setting up the proper bow.
Judging your friend's shooting ability. Today, that's what we're going to talk about on the Raised Hunting Podcast. We're going to talk about how to criticize your frickin' friends, and when they make a bad shot, how to rub it in.
Probably be more honest.
Yeah.
Have your buddy score you.
All right. Welcome to the Raised Hunting Podcast, and I'm going to apologize for not only the crap you might hear in the future, but what you already heard if you were listening before we ever introduced the podcast today. I'm your host, David Holder, and I'm joined today by Warren and Easton, and they are a piece of work this morning, so this could be quite interesting. I can see Warren has got the jitters here with a freaking fly swatter, and Easton seems to be
Shit swapper.
I was looking at my dog.
Okay. So anyhow, we got a really cool podcast for you guys today. We're going to talk more. We talked the last podcast about why do we miss, and we kind of broke it into 3 categories. We miss because we just can't shoot. We miss because we have mental issues. And I'm not talking about
Don't worry. It's all of us.
It's not like short bus mental issues. It is like,
gosh, dang.
Just lose your crap. And then maybe you just make poor decisions, and hopefully we can help with all of that. So today we're going to dive a little farther into the mechanics, I guess, or the shootability, I think is what we're kind of referring to here.
So square one, foundation.
Yeah, so building a foundation so that you can be a good shot, so that you can I don't want to say be a good shot. That's wrong. So that you can be more successful in the woods.
Lethal.
Yeah, lethal.
Assassin.
Yeah,
Killer.
Absolutely.
So basically, we are taking the 3 things that we believe are the most common causes for you to miss. And we talked a little bit about keeping your cool yesterday, but breaking into today, this is the only one that we can talk to you about that you can do right now. It's a great time to start right now, to go practice right now, and be able to work on this and see an actual result till deer season or whenever your next season is. The other ones you're going to have to do with experience and when you are in the woods. So this one is the most tangible and best one to be able to actually practice.
Should we recap a little bit though on like the missing stuff or not? Or can we
real
just
quick, if you get any value out of the podcast, then please like it, share it, leave a review. Really helps us out. If you don't like it, keep it to yourself and move along.
Yeah, go join the rest of the PETA group.
Yeah. What's that one song?
Peter Pan.
Move along like I know you do.
Yeah.
Move along.
That's a good one.
Can you auto-tune that, Nick?
Am I reading a story today?
Yeah, if you have one, I think.
I have some.
I guess you're not going to do your giveaway thing, huh?
I wasn't so sure on what to say yet.
I'm going to air him out. So Easton's trying to come up. We want to give you guys something. We love our podcast listeners. You guys are awesome. And so we try to do things. We do try to bring things to you guys before anyone else, meaning if we got a new product, which we do, a couple of them. And so Easton came up with the idea that, hey, we want to be able to give these guys something. Let's do something, but we need something in return. So what is that going to be? So he can't figure it out, so you guys ain't getting nothing. So if I were you, I would be like, raised hunting sucks.
You just aired me out for me being a good person.
You have
somehow tried.
We have a podcast email address solely, right?
Contact at raisedhunting.com.
That's not podcast
everything.
only.
That's all my people that communicate with me.
But it goes in with all of the emails.
Yeah.
Okay, so it might not be the best idea.
What are you looking to do?
I was going to have them screenshot that they shared something
And
and
email it?
yeah.
They could text it to us.
Do they always go through though on the Google Voice deal?
I've never had them not go through.
I thought we had some we didn't get.
I don't know. Wait, we need to determine this afterwards.
Okay.
All right.
So hang in there because we're going to be giving something away. I just don't know when or what it's going to freaking be because these guys are like.
All right.
Huh?
We'll
I
read a
found out,
story.
figured out. No, we're giving away. Nick.
Huh?
Oh. I don't know if that's a punishment.
Giving away a Nick.
All right, here we go. This one is from Justin Gray. I believe we've actually heard from him before on one of our deer stories. He said, well, it finally happened. Trying to chase down a turkey has finally come to an end. Although it was a Jake, I was still blessed. We heard a group of 3 gobblers going crazy and doing their typical crackhead behavior. When they jumped out of the roost, a coyote ran in, and I thought that the hunt was over for those. Instead, we stayed and put the 2 hens. He's saying we stayed put, and then we had 2 hens. Wow, some of these sentences are interesting. We're 5 feet away, and then 8 total birds came out. The Jake walked into 20 yards. I took a shot and dropped it. I couldn't be happier, as this year had been the first for many things, both hunting and life. I recently have gotten engaged, as well as harvesting my biggest buck with a bow, and now my first turkey. I'm truly grateful for everything y'all talk about, as well as hunting tips for deer and turkeys.
Okay, what was his name,
Congrats.
Jay?
Justin,
Congrats,
Justin
Gray.
Justin Gray. Justin, congrats, dude. And
On the engagement too.
do
Have
not
fun in the wedding planning stage.
Yeah. Do not apologize
that'll be
for
great.
do not apologize for shooting a Jake other than if you're in South Carolina, don't tell anybody because you're illegal. But other than that, I shot lots of Jakes in my time. So
Disclaimer: we do not condone hiding illegal behavior.
No, but
There's a show. It's a show or a movie. I'm trying to figure out which one it is. That it's like the dad is always a major PR issue. Like in public, he's always having to do media.
Shameless.
Maybe that's what it is.
Frank Gallagher.
Yeah,
it's called our
He's
president.
always having to apologize for stuff, and that's you.
Trump doesn't apologize for nothing.
No, I'm not saying he apologizes, but he's always in the limelight for something
That's
he's
'cause
done.
Trump was the new pope. Didn't you see?
That's wrong.
That's funny.
So there we go.
Okay.
All right.
I do think that was kind of wrong.
Does anybody have a direction on the fundamentals that we want to start with?
I think what our point here is our goal, number one, to get out of this is anybody should be able to say, I feel like I'm comfortable, confident, and good with my abilities shooting 20 and 30 yards and have the tools to be able to determine that. And then the other part of it is determining whether either the language or being able to actually look at your bow and see some of these things to make sure that your baseline is good, your bow's in time or in tune, you're looking through a peep sight, it's not twisted, things like that. And whether they learn how to do it or how to identify it, that they could at least take it to a bow shop and say, hey, I want to check this, and this out.
Okay. So should we try to start with like a benchmark of what category would somebody fall in? If they can shoot this, then they're beginning level. If they can shoot this, they're intermediate, and they can shoot this, they're advanced.
I think you could come up with this pretty, it's not come up with because we've had to do these types of things. Number one, our focus target that we have was designed for that purpose. But outside of that, I think it's depending on the person. Because if you look at Joey, when he first started shooting and stuff, I'm trying to think of one of our other main ones that's been around. But when they start shooting, you're shooting them at 20 yards. Well, you're not shooting them. They're starting to shoot at 20 yards.
Run!
But they start at 20 yards, and they get their confidence there, or if not 10 yards. And then they get their confidence, and as they build up, like Joey's now been shooting for 3 or 4 years, and he shoots well, still won't shoot anything past 30. He's just not comfortable with that. But he started with 20 yards and made sure that he was consistent. It was every single time that he was hitting that 20-yard target. Then he went to 30.
Does he ever shoot further than that, even practicing? Or you're saying he doesn't hunt further than 30
He practices at 40 sometimes, but I gotta convince him to.
So at 20 yards, if you can put an arrow in a softball every single time.
I would like to see doing like a baseball or smaller, yeah.
Okay.
3 to 4 inch circle.
Then that would put you at
4 inches way too big.
Beginning
at 20.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say that's just level 1. If you can hit what at 30?
I said at 30, I had calculated a while ago a 3-inch dot that I should be able to hit every time.
So smaller than a baseball.
No, it's about the size of a baseball, just a little bit smaller than a baseball.
Okay.
Which was on the small side. I think you're...
Okay, so then if we had to categorize that, would that be intermediate? Or is that the majority of archers? Or is that the top 20% of archers? What does that look like?
Probably middle to higher level a little bit.
Okay. So, and then if you can, at 40, what was it?
4-inch circle.
4-inch circle.
Mm-hmm.
And so softball?
It's a little smaller than a softball, maybe just a hair.
Slightly smaller?
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you can be in that every single time, and I would say that means from your first arrow, not after your 15th arrow.
And I think that's one of them. There's just several things that we're like, we'll get there, I guess, but they're the most important arrow every single time, especially as you get closer to the season. Your whole training or practice that day really starts when you draw your bow the first time. That's the one that counts. That's truly where you need to know, because I know that I have done it where I have shot my first arrow and it's dead on, and then the more I shot left or shot or did something, and then I adjusted it, and then I come back, and the next time that I shoot, it's right. The first arrow was. When I was cold, I was X. Big part of that I found was working out. It affected how I shot my bow.
Yep. But I'm just trying to give people a benchmark here.
It's so hard to identify your rabbit holes sometimes because it makes me want to jump in with you.
This is all I'm trying to do here. If you can bench press 250 pounds, then you are middle of the pack. You can bench press 300 pounds, you're in the top 15%. Just giving people an idea of,
at 20,
okay, this is roughly where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't know how to I don't know how to quantify that.
I think we do. To somewhat close. If you're
shooting consistently at the 40 in the first place, you're above most people. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's the same theory, or not theory. I'd be willing to bet it's the same statistic if I could somehow figure out how to do it, as benching 225 as a human in the human population. It's like the top 1%. Yeah. What do you think is that crazy? But only 1% of the population can do it or something. But for archery, I think if you're shooting 40 yards, I know there's a lot of people on social media that are shooting a lot further, but as a whole, if you're shooting 40 consistently, you probably are pretty good.
If you're keeping every arrow in a baseball at 40,
you're shooting really well.
You're easily in the top 10%, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is where it gets hard to fathom how many people are shooting at animals 50, 60, 70 yards.
Oh yeah.
Or how they magically go when there's it's a really weird line. It's almost like the timeline, like Pacific time, Central time. You cross from the Midwest to the West, and once you do that, you can shoot a lot farther.
Yeah, it's because yes.
It's like a magic little line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going out to go elk hunting, and I'm not very good at 40 yards because I live in Iowa. But, man, when I cross that line to go elk hunting, I can shoot 80.
Yeah, that's just because of what people have been informed. Okay, so 40 yards. You can shoot a baseball at 40 yards every time. You are an advanced archer.
Doing very well.
Advanced to elite archer. If you can shoot, and like I said, that is not after you're all warmed up and everything else. It's 3 cold shots.
This is also just opinion to try to help you guys
just to try to give us.
We're not giving you statistical basis, so don't come at us with
but
that.
maybe
we're just trying to give people
that
a baseline
question.
too.
Let's let these guys also. Our podcast guys are good at commenting. What do they set? What is it? What is everyone's personal? I got to be able to do X.
Yes. All we're trying to do is give people information. If you're in this category, you might need to be looking at this.
Yep.
30 yards, if you can keep it in a baseball, we would say that you are average to good. Okay? 20 yards, if you can keep it in the baseball, then you're good, but there's plenty of room for improvement. And you shouldn't be shooting past 20 in any hunting scenario at any time with that information. So from there, so let's just say for the people that are at 20 and 30 are probably the ones who this is going to benefit the most. If you're at 20 and you can get it, or if you can't even get it into the baseball at 20, then here's a few things I think that we would tell you probably should check first. Do you have an opinion on what those would be?
Oh, simply put, I mean, there's a lot of things. You're looking at your bow. You got to see that is a foundation. And I'm the first person, and I probably learned it from him. Most of the time, like when you're struggling or something like that, or you didn't hit or you missed or whatever, I'm going to be like, okay, it's probably you. But you have to start with, at some point, having a tuned bow that is timed right, your peep sight's in the right location, you have the right draw length, a comfortable draw weight, your rest is in tune, all these different things to make sure that it is shooting properly, and you can rule that part out that, okay, I missed, it's not the bow.
Okay.
But you can't do that unless you can identify it. And so number one, if you don't have any idea about any of it, don't try just jacking with them. Like you need to find somebody, you need to ask your friends, you need to call around, maybe look at some Facebook groups. There is probably a favored or reputable archery shop over other ones in your area, just about anywhere or somewhere close. And if you have to drive an extra 30 minutes because it's going to be a way better shop, you do that, because you're going to want to find somewhere that you can learn from them. They can show you the different things of how to find these tuning items or whatever you need to be doing. And so I think there's definitely a couple of simple ones you could do as somebody who would have no idea. One would be draw length is super common. If you feel like you are getting all the way to full draw, and when you get all the way back, it's like your hand that is pulling is past your ear, or is like pulling away from your head, that you're having to pull further, and it's really, really, really hard for you to hold it all the way back, you probably have too long of a draw length. Same thing going forward. If you are pulling it back and you can't get it to where your front arm, your right hand would be your left hand, or other way left-handed, but if you can't get that extended or know that it's extended or close to, your draw length is probably too short. Those are two huge things right there to be able to identify that it doesn't feel comfortable when I'm at full draw. Okay, there's probably something to look at. And that is going to make your life unbelievably more accurate when you have the correct draw length.
So the person I think that's going to is because I know I think we have quite a few new people that listen to the podcast. So if you're one of these folks that has inherited your bow from your dad, your uncle, your brother, a friend, someone like that, then there's a good chance your draw length is not correct. And that will make a major difference in your accuracy. And so one of the easiest ways to check that is just to go and measure it.
But I think there's a bigger one. I think bigger than draw length is draw weight. That people do not, and this is something that I developed when I was, I don't know, I guess I just always said, I think I started doing it when we started doing camps, but I say that, and I think I'd already started you on, and that is, if you can't sit down, cross your legs, I used to be able to say sit Indian style. I can't say that anymore because that's not politically correct.
But, meanwhile, I'll say it anyways.
Yeah, I didn't say Indian style. I just said sit down with your legs crossed. So anyhow, but you sit down with your legs crossed, and without pointing your bow to the ceiling, draw your bow, and it should come back smoothly. If you can do that because you don't have any leverage in that position, then you're probably shooting a poundage that you can comfortably draw at any time. I think
you also used to make us hold it for a minute.
Yeah, that's later on, though. That's not something that you have to have someone brand new. You just don't. If you're struggling, I see so many people that very first-time shooters, man, they are doing everything they can because they haven't developed the correct muscles to draw a bow. And you would be surprised. You don't have to be super stout. You don't have to go to the gym, be really super buff to draw a lot of weight. You just need to do it more often, and then you develop those muscles, and then they'll pull a bow back. But don't worry too much about how much poundage. It's not about beating the other guy. You know, you want something that you can comfortably shoot. So
if you're listening to this and you're questioning your draw length, you're questioning your draw weight, you're questioning if your bow is
not in
a
tune.
viable option, or if you need a new one or anything like that, then you probably need to go to an archery shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then is what I would tell you when you go to the archery shop. Go to the archery shop and then talk to, like Easton said, find a reputable one and then talk to whoever works there and just let them know, hey, I'm a new archer and I'm just trying to make sure that everything is, that I have a good baseline. So I'm trying to check my draw length, my draw weight, and make sure the bow is in tune. You ask them those 3 questions and you're going to end up in a much, much better spot than where you may be otherwise. And then my second piece of advice to that is most of those guys behind the counter are going to be great and they're going to be phenomenal to work with. Everybody else, ignore them because there's a great chance that you're going to have people that are going to talk to you, be like, hey, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're doing this wrong, and most of them can't hit the broadside of a barn if they were in the barn, so don't listen to them either. Now, if he's a really nice guy and you watch him shoot and he's out there just hitting tacks, sure, that dude you can listen to, but 97% of them, ignore them because lots of guys just want to be able to get their opinion in.
Kind of like an in-person comment section.
Yes.
The people that'll correct you on anything.
I think the important,
when they don't know.
I think the important part that we want to stress here is that the reason we're doing this podcast now, and starting where what Warren and Easton and I are talking about, is because now is when you want to do that. Because if you have that foundation, if you have the right draw length, right draw weight, and that arrow comes out of there and shoots a bullet hole when you're standing at that archery shop, now you can go practicing 20 yards, 30 yards, whatever, but now you know it's not the bow. It's me. You'll know the difference. As opposed to, hopefully that archery shop is going to help you find out if your rest is out of time, or if the cams are out of time and things like that, things that you probably wouldn't know, that they could tell you, oh, we need to adjust this. And take care of it for you.
And you're going to want June, July, August to be shooting your bow. Yep. And so you want to be worrying about having to get everything else ready or tuned. Like you want to have your setup and be working on getting everything dialed in over that period of time.
Absolutely.
This is also great for any of you experienced or non-experienced. You've been shooting for a little bit that is wanting to tinker. You want to try a different release. You want to try a different sight. You're getting a new bow. You want to put a different string on, a new rest, whatever your new item is that you're wanting to purchase and try out or whatever. This is the time to test it because you want to have time to fix it if anything
doesn't
or
work.
you don't like it or something. Yep. So
okay, so let's just say I'm Bill. I'm the new guy.
Hey, Bill.
And I went to the archery range. They got me all set up. And I know my draw length's right, my draw weight's good, and the bow is tuned. What should I do next?
Learn how to shoot.
Start at 10 yards.
Well,
or even closer. I'm talking about you're brand new or you just are not super comfortable yet. Don't be afraid to just start really close, because the last thing you want to do is, as you're learning, it's costing you money because arrows are flying all over the place. You can't find them because they're in the ground. They're over top of the target.
Right after you're done getting your bow tuned and you're at the bow shop, you're going to turn around and you're ask the same guy. That's what you're going to do. Say, could you give me a few pointers here real quick just to get me started so I can try to start off good? And, start at 10 yards. They're going to probably give you more than what you need. And you're off to the races to at least be shooting. And then you're going to be shooting 10 yards, and you're going to be doing it until you're very comfortable with it.
Because the other thing that bow shop should is match your arrows to your bow so that you're shooting the correct arrows, correct tips. Most people nowadays, I'd say, 95% probably are shooting with a release. So find a release that you're comfortable with. Don't worry about all the fancy ones yet. Just get something that works. An index finger seems to be the place for people to start, and then go from there.
I think if there's 2 things that you can just focus on those right now and don't even worry that much about where you hit, it would be your grip and your anchor points, and making sure that you're not pig nosing and digging your face into the string. If you can just get those 2 things, I think, to start, I think you're going to be in a really, really good place, and everything else can come easy.
And punching the trigger.
And punching the trigger.
That's probably
don't start that habit.
That's what we see the most with the kids at camp.
Yes, 100%. So we all
Andy's
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, which he's broke it, though, or worked to break it.
Just with the handheld release.
Okay, so we all going to agree there?
Yep.
Okay, so then is what I would tell you, start be shooting close. Be focusing on those two things. Don't worry too much about where you hit. If you need to adjust your sight, and I would tell you that's okay to do. If you need to adjust your rest, don't touch it. Go back to the archery shop, okay? If you think it's the rest, you need to go back to the archery shop. Don't touch it. So you get to 10. You're comfortable at 10. Now we go to 20. What does that look like for me?
Hopefully you hit the target.
Okay, so how long should I just start shooting at 40 or
No.
stick to 20 for a while or what?
No, make it all a stair-stepping process. I mean, none of it is, you're shooting 10 yards, you could go hunt 10 yards if you're consistently shooting 10 yards. You just have to hold yourself to a 10-yard shot.
Yep.
Same thing when you go to 20 and you're comfortably shooting 20. You just have to hold yourself to a 20-yard shot and don't get overexcited and start launching arrows. But just go to your next distance. The easiest way to start off, like some people would probably be like, well, should I shoot my other pin or whatever else because it's not sighted in? When you go from 10 to 20 yards, there's going to be a drop. But I would put my 10-yard pin high on a dot at 20 because I know that pin is sighted in. And you're probably going to hit 4 to 6 inches low, depending on, there's all kinds of things. But you're probably going to hit low. And so you're going to know, okay, my 20-yard pin is going to be closest. Next one down, you can adjust it up or down, whatever you need to do. But that'll keep you from losing an arrow. But then you're just same exact thing. But you need to keep everything you did at 10 yards, even though it's a little scarier at 20 yards. Same exact thing the entire time. And do not change it. Don't get over stimulated and start smacking the trigger or something or get nervous or whatever.
I would also tell you once you get out to 20 and you start shooting a decent bit and you get consistent, especially if you're consistent in the dot, but then what's going to happen is you're going to have fun. You're going to like it and you're going to start shooting.
Feels good when you're hitting where you want.
But you're going to shoot more and more and more. You shoot 150, 200, 300 arrows. And what's going to happen when you do that is now you're going to be a little left, then you're going to be a little right, then you're going to be a little high, then you're going to be a little low. Or you're going to be all one way and you're going to move it. Then you're going to go out and you're going to shoot the next day. It's going to be left.
All the other way.
And then you're going to move it, and then the next day. So my point with that is once you start shooting and you get comfortable, get it close, and then leave it alone. Even if it moves to the right or it goes left, leave it alone. The likelihood that it is you is like 90%. So now when you come back the next day, what will probably happen is you're going to be really close or it's going to be right still. And in that event, then yes,
now move
your sight. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, what Warren is saying is, don't make a change in where you're shooting until you've seen that consistently happen over a course of a couple times. Not in that same training scenario.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to end up in a situation
Back
where
and
you're
forth,
chasing
back
your
and forth.
sight. Yes.
Yep.
All over the place.
The other thing the other little tip though that I would tell you too, if like we talked about going from 10 to 20, but when you go to 20, and let's just say you're putting them all in what we were saying about a baseball-sized circle, maybe instead of going to 30 or going further, try to aim at something inside the 20-yard. Meaning if it's a baseball size, I'm trying to hit a dot inside there. The more you learn to aim small, miss small is this term that's been used a gajillion times, but it's 100% true, the better off you will be. And the more you will start to make your groups more and more consistent. And then, so maybe if you can, change your dot size at 20 before you go out to 30. Make it a little smaller. See if you can keep them all in there. And then the other one I like to, I feel like when you gain more confidence, I saw someone posted yesterday, a buddy of mine posted something yesterday, and he said, there's nothing like a group of arrows. Meaning you shoot a group and you walk down and like you put your hand around it and pull them all out. I agree. However, that can get spendy because you start breaking arrows. But there's also something about having multiple dots on a target and hitting every one of those dots and walking down there because you have to focus on a different spot. And so I like that. So there's a couple different ways of accomplishing what we're talking about. This is the time to get your form and get your everything correct, because if you don't, and you will teach yourself the wrong way to do something.
Yeah.
And it'll be so hard to break it later on.
Yep. And even if it feels weird at the beginning and you really, really don't want to do it, I would just force yourself to do it, because you're going to be really thankful that you did.
I think the big one that we probably should mention here is, because maybe we jumped the gun a little bit, check your eye dominance. That is going to be huge.
Yeah, eye dominance is a big one.
If you're left eye dominant, but you're a right-handed person and you've never shot a bow, you're going to want to buy a left-handed bow and teach yourself to shoot left-handed. I'm telling you, I promise you. Otherwise, you're going to be putting a patch over your eye. You're going to be trying to work against your body. So you want to be shooting whatever eye dominance you are. That's the way you want to be shooting. Meaning, if you're right eye dominant, you want to be shooting right-handed. If you're left eye dominant, you want to be shooting left-handed. For me, was like, oh my gosh, if I had to, I can't do anything left-handed. And so for me, it's like, I pray to God I never have anything happen to my right eye where I had to try to do something left-handed, because I would really, really struggle. But what I learned really quickly when I picked up on this several years ago is there's a lot of people that it really isn't that big a deal. I mean, you can do more left-handed if you had to, especially when you're doing something new. You don't know. And so it gets comfortable holding it that way. But definitely make sure you check your eye dominance at the very beginning.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. But I think if there's two things that you take out of it, if you work, number one is your grip. Get the grip down. And it's going to feel weird, but it's going to do two things. One, it's going to, I think, down the road, it's going to be one of the most important things to making you a good archer, because you're not going to be torquing your bow. And then number two with that is you're not going to destroy your arm. You will smack your arm if you grab the bow all the time. And so that will help you not do that. And then I think number two would probably be the learning to squeeze the trigger. Mm-hmm. And squeeze that trigger and don't get into the habit of smacking the trigger. But if you could get those two things, then I think you have the foundation to become a great archer.
Yep. And the awesome thing is, and we've seen this, I see it in camp probably more than anything. If you're a person out there that is not super athletic, meaning you didn't play football, you didn't play baseball, you weren't a cheerleader, you weren't doing ballet or whatever, archery is right there. Anyone can do it. It doesn't matter whether you're short, fat, skinny, black, white, Indian, don't matter. Anybody can literally do it. There's even
armless archer.
Matthew Stutzman is the armless. He draws his bow with his feet, holds it with his feet and draws it with his mouth.
Which I think he set a world record too.
He's unbelievable. Now, granted, don't try to do that if you don't have to. But my point is that it's just anyone can do it. So don't get discouraged when it doesn't go right. Just keep working with it. And I can't tell you enough. And I hope we don't lose our mom and pop shops, is what we call them, the archery shops that take care of you locally, to all the big box stores, because I do feel like that they spend more quality time with you. Because that's all they do typically. You'll find an archery shop that's all they do. Or even if it is a place that has guns and stuff like that, a lot of times they'll have someone dedicated to the archery part. And that's who you want helping you.
Yep.
Another big one that this is the time of year to do it.
Legend, no. He's got the headset.
This is the time to go do them, to enjoy them, and to practice your shooting ability as well as your mental toughness. And that is, if you're brand new, it's going to be very daunting. But if you've been shooting for a little bit and you're looking just to get better, make yourself go to some 3D shoots this summer. And make sure that, number one, you should go with somebody, unless it's scary or going alone. I don't know. But go with a buddy or something like that so it's fun. But you're going to pay to go to your 3D shoot, and you're also going to make sure you get a scorecard. You're not just going to shoot the course. You're getting a scorecard. You're going to score yourself accurately. And the reason I say that, it doesn't really matter if you're scoring to try to beat other people, but that is a pretty good area or way to get yourself a little nervous. It may sound dumb, but go do it. And the reason I know that is because me and Warren and stuff, after camp, we'll go shoot the 3D course. I shoot really well, and there ain't no, we'll make some serious shots too. I mean, and it's like, holy crap. Then I go to a 3D shoot, especially ones where it's been like me and him in on a team shoot or something. Your boy doesn't look like he shot very much. And I don't understand why all that much. Besides, I get a little nervous, but it's like I just don't do good at those. And so that's something that I should be doing, is going to shoot those much more often, because I do shoot well. But that's evidently, there's a weird one right there that it's a mental thing. And so that's a great way to go practice. It's during the summer. They're a lot of fun. And, well, you can get better at it.
And they have classes too, so it's not like you have to worry about like, oh, I got to try and compete against these guys with these 4-foot stabilizers.
Yeah, you can just enter the hunter division is typically what it's called. But,
yep.
But I'm going to disagree with Easton a little bit here, because not about going. I think you should go. But I am going to disagree with, if you're someone that's fairly new, don't worry about the score. You can get it and score it. That's fine. But also, I've seen 3D shoots set up by guys that have been shooting as long as we have, that kind of thing. And there may be shots that you just flat don't feel comfortable taking. Walk up a little closer and shoot where you don't go there and lose half your arrows. That will just demoralize you. And don't feel bad that other people are shooting from the stake or making it, because some people will even make it harder. And granted, you guys got to remember, we would be in that advanced level. And sometimes it's hard to remember where these people are coming from. And that's what I'm saying. Make it fun. Go with a group of people that shoot. The best thing you can do, I think, is go with someone who's better than you. And you'll learn from them just watching them shoot and what they're doing. There'll be things that we never even thought of telling you that you'll see them do. And you can ask them, hey, why did you do that? Yesterday you brought, or in our last podcast, you brought up some cool tips on understanding how you position the pin when you're not positive of the yardage. You know, you might see someone do that, or they might talk about doing that.
Yep.
So 3D shoots are awesome. They are fun. I agree with Easton, and they can teach some great things. But I hope we're going to get into that in this series, because I think you got to be careful, because they can teach some bad things too.
Yep. Is that good for a foundation?
I think so.
I think you could get possibly too far into it if you go a whole lot.
Definitely geared more for your beginner, for sure. But even if you're somebody who's been shooting for a while, those are the things that you may have been shooting for a little bit. You just didn't know what to be looking for if your arrow's fishtailing or something like that. Okay, well, there's something wrong, and you can maybe figure that out. There's all kinds of different things that you're going to see eventually that you're hitting off, or bow's not working right, or something that moving your sight isn't going to work. And so you'll run into things and you'll start learning about them. But
well, I think probably the majority of our listeners are farther along than what we're talking about today. Mm-hmm. And so just bear with us, guys, because we're going to be there. Hopefully we'll be able to help you as well as we get into some more of the advanced stuff. But we didn't want to leave those people that aren't where you guys are at behind. You know, trying to bring everyone as much as we can. And the other thing is, again, it's just our opinion. So if you guys have questions, though, and maybe you're listening to the podcast and we've created a question, shoot us direct messages. We'll try to answer everything we can, like what Warren said. And Easton, my dog is now caught on my headphone cable and can't get through.
He's biting it.
No, I know. He's only biting it because it caught him. Go. Dingbat. Anybody still chasing turkeys out there? You guys, I saw some turkeys this morning, which made me think of it, because we got a week left. But I'm going to be leaving to go on.
2 weeks left.
I know.
You don't.
I have a week left because I'm going on a bear hunt. So my turkey season basically ends Sunday. We'll see. Saturday, Sunday would be the last 2 days that I'll have a chance. And then we're going to Canada, going up to see our buddy Brandon Schreiber. And we got 9 other guys. And we're going to see if we can whack a big old black bear. Should be a good trip, and catch some fish.
Chevrolet Corvette Z06 buyers can pay $5,000 to visit the factory and assemble their car's engine with the help of a Chevy technician. The finished engine is fitted with a plaque bearing the owner's name and assembly date, giving customers a unique hands-on experience and a personalized touch to their supercar.
It's the same thing. They mimicked Porsche.
I think we should have a deal where you can pay. We'll even go $1,000. You can pay $1,000 and come here and we're going to give you a plaque and let you bottle your own scents.
I think they're just following Rube's, the steakhouse place where you go over there and cook your own steak.
That's the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, Porsches, they'll deliver it to you for free, or you can pay $5,000 and go do a tour of their entire facility and drive your car home.
That's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Not to people
It's
who
not that
like
stupid, actually. It's a very intelligent idea, and it works. They make money. They have a lose or a win-win situation for them. Okay, you good? You're
It's
unprepared.
on the struggle bus this morning.
Some people have a rare condition called highly superior autobiographical memory.
Is that you?
Only with sheds, and which allows them to remember nearly every day of their lives in vivid detail.
Oh,
If
wow.
given any random date, they can recall exactly what they were doing, who they were with, where they were, and even the day of the week.
Wow. I've seen that in movies.
I would say that they are AI. They're a walking AI.
That's
Alyssa, I've
so
been watching
crazy.
Love on the Spectrum.
Oh, boy.
It's a
Definitely
dating,
about Down syndrome.
autism.
Autism.
It's a dating show for people that are autistic and stuff, right? So that's why it's called Love on the Spectrum. But there's this one guy on there that he's autistic, right? But they ask him these math questions.
Oh, yeah, he knows the answer.
Freaking wild.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, okay, what's 21 times 34? And he's like, this. And then they'd ask him, what's this? And this. And then what was the day of this date in 1982? Tuesday. And it's like, what the frick? It was insane.
I'm
I'll
pretty
see if I
sure
can find the clip.
Elon has autism, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I think he has some form of autism.
It's pretty. It's nuts. When does AI become OI? And what I mean by that is we call it artificial intelligence, right? But when does it become official intelligence? Like that because it's really happening. Meaning, like you have a robot, right?
I know what you mean.
A robot, and they get a robot, and the robot shoots a gun, and the robot shoots people, right? And you're going to say that's artificial intelligence. It can go in and it can fight when no one gets killed, no person gets killed, right? Because if it gets shot, it's just a machine. However, it is artificial intelligence, but what it kills is not artificial. It's killing. If it's killing the enemy, that's official. It's real. So when does artificial be not artificial anymore? When is it official? Official
I think
intelligence.
you're going to want to cut.
Why are you
making a fool of himself over here.
I'm just way advanced.
Artificial. Number one, if it's going to change anything, it's going to be natural. Artificial is fake. Opposite of artificial is natural.
It's not fake though. What it's doing.
Organic. It could be organic intelligence.
Well, official may not be the correct word.
It is not it.
I'm just saying that artificial intelligence is real. It's not artificial at all.
I think you may have been
because it was made artificially.
Did somebody send you some shrooms or something?
No.
Are you sure?
Positive.
All right. Well.
Goodbye. All right. This is David Holder with the Raised Hunting Podcast. Remember, guys, go to the website. Check out the scents. By June, we'll have all of them in stock. We do have some free stuff coming for those of you that heard the beginning of the podcast. I'm not sure how he's going to do it, but we'll have something here pretty soon that you guys will either be able to put in for, or we're going to just give you guys something or whatever. So we appreciate you listening. Leave the reviews. Share the podcast with your buddies. Don't forget the Canine Line. Don't forget Knox. Make sure you got everything. Thanks for watching. I'm David Holder with the Raised Hunting Podcast. We'll see you next week.
That was good.